36.8, 16.5.
Incoming! Time to finally do a Traxxas Rustler project. I guess it's a Rustler. It's actually a Traxxas Bandit chassis, which I believe is the same as a Rustler. I'm not 100%, but I think they're the same. It's the black version. I had a brand new sitting here for a couple years back. Since I was making all the Bandit videos a couple years ago, I was staring at it one day, licking my chops, and I decided it's time to do a stadium truck version. We're gonna get straight to Big Dog RC and try this baby out and see how it works, because I want to race it this coming weekend. Just so happened I had a body left over that was painted by Steve Prochko. This was on my AE Stadium truck. I made my own body mounts so I could use the holes that were already in the body. We'll get into that at the end of the video. I'll show you under the hood, show you what's going on in here. I'm running my handmade shock towers front and rear and a rear mounting block. Handmade body mounts, some used tires and wheels I got. I got a 7.5 mod motor in here just because it's what I had. I want to put a 13.5 in here. I didn't have access to one, so I threw something in I already had. I know it's going to be too fast, so I'll just dial it back a little bit. Let's get to the track and try this pig out. Sorry about the noise. I know it sounds like we're in the middle of a construction site in New York City, but we're going to have to deal with it because there's construction going on here today. That had to be the longest circular saw cut ever made. That's the hole back there.
$16.5.
Right now I'm getting a lot of hopping around in the back end, and I know why. I have the wrong springs on here. I'm going to change them here momentarily. The rear end's a little loose, and I know what the problem is there too. I'll explain later in the video.
$17.14.
So I accidentally brought it to the track with the wrong springs on the back. I had these Proline shocks on the back, which are way too heavy. I just went next door to a hobby shop and got some stock Bandit springs. And the front, I'm running V2 AE springs because I like them. And it feels really nice now. But I still have a little traction problem. I'll explain that later. Now when I land in the middle of this pit jump, listen for the high-pitched snap sound. Did you hear it?
Is that how you do that? Something's hanging. Oh, I broke a hub.
Indeed I did. I don't know if that's called the spindle maybe, or the hub. The part that the steering rod connects to. You can see it broke right there. That's the snap we heard.
Guy's driving like it's his first time.
Stock tires pretty bad.
What's up?
All right, all fixed up. Let's try this again.
38.9.
Ooh.
$31.5.
Since there's music playing in the background and I don't want to get copyrighted again, I guess this is a good time to tell you about the springs I changed. Definitely improvement putting stock Traxxas springs on. The Pro lines were way too heavy. It's definitely better, but I still have a problem. And now I have another problem.
God damn.
You guessed it. I broke the same thing on the other side. These are just too wimpy for stadium truck tires. On a Bandit, I never had this problem, but you got the little buggy wheels. These bigger stadium truck tires are going to need aluminum parts.
Summer.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
All right, looks like the music is playing again, so I'll do a little bit of talking. So I ended up finishing out the day with just plastic parts. I had lots of extras in my bag, but I do end up replacing it with aluminum before I take this thing back out because, and I don't need aluminum arms, just the caster blocks and the spindle hub, whatever you call that piece. That's what I used to run on the Bandit, and plastic arms are fine. Just it's the weight of them bigger stadium truck tires flopping around. When you clip a pipe with them, it's a lot different than clipping it with a little buggy wheel. But I guess you could just try not to hit anything. That might help too. But let me get to the traction problem. It's definitely way better with the springs I put on, but the rear shock tire that's on here that I made is the one I ran on the Bandit. And I didn't compensate for the fact that the Rustler arms are wider, hence it makes the rear shocks lay down more than they were on the Bandit, because this shock tire works great on the Bandit. But my shocks are laying down too much, and the suspension's not really working properly. It's kind of going down and sticking. It's not really rebounding up the way it should. And I think that's the reason it's doing a lot of bouncing and hopping and losing traction in the rear end. Now, if you really focus on your trigger finger, like I get a few lap times here. I start getting my lap times down once I got a good run going in here. But once you start, you just kind of, you can't drive it that hard. It's a little bit of a handful.
Sounds like a Traxxas.
Yeah. It's actually the quietest Traxxas I have.
63.7.
I gotta make a new shock tire for the rear. It'll be 100 times better.
And on this note here, I think it's time to go buy some aluminum parts at the hobby shop next door and head home.
Maybe. God damn it.
All right, since I've been back, I've already fixed the broken parts on the front end and I replaced them with aluminum pieces. I never had that problem with the Bandito, but then again, I'm just running little skinny buggy tires up front and not these big old monstrosities. So as soon as you clip a pipe with them little plastic parts up there, they just kept breaking. It didn't take much. Let me get you in here a little closer, show you what I got going on, and show you what I'm going to do. Because I'm going to race this thing this Saturday. Well, I guess that'll be this Saturday for me, but for you, it's probably going to be next Saturday or the Saturday after that. I'm not sure. I'm a few videos ahead or behind. Whatever, let's get in here and take a look at this. And if you're wondering what the Bandito is, where have you been? Go back to last year or the year before, but go way back through MX Acres videos. Whole series of taking a Traxxas Bandit bone stock and progressively making changes and making it better and faster and taking it racing. And we raced it on dirt, carpet, high bite down in West Virginia, Big Dog RC, raced it multiple places, did pretty good with it, and had a lot of fun with it. The mid-motor Bandito over here, the regular Banditos over there, did a rear motor Kyosho, all kind of fun stuff. So if you haven't watched any old videos, if you're new to MX Acres, go back. I suggest you go back, watch a bunch of them, and get caught up on them. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, notification bells, and all that stuff. All right, back to the truck. First of all, I got my modified Phantom 7.5 motor in here in ESC. Actually in the drag. This is actually in the Traxxas Bandit drag truck I did a video on back in the spring. It's what I had, so I detuned it. I took the turbo and all that stuff out of it. I didn't have a 13.5. I want to run a 13.5 in this. So that's what I put in there. It's way too fast. I have my 13.5 Phantom Helix motor here. This was in my wheeler racing on carpet last winter, and I remember I got this thing hot and it was smoking, but I haven't tried it since, so I'm going to see if it still works. If not, I'm going to get a 13.5. But on to the good stuff. Since I got back from the track, I put blue aluminum caster block and the spindle. That's aluminum now. That shouldn't be a problem. I do have blue aluminum bell cranks in there. Those were actually on my original Bandito project. The original Bandito's back to 100% stock parts, with the exception of Proline shocks are still on it. Of course, I am running the thin 4200 Gens Ace Redline battery in this truck. That's what all my buggies have in them right now. These things are phenomenal. They weigh practically nothing, and they have tons of power. Pearline transmission, and I have a gear diff in here, but I have real thick oil in it. I don't remember what's in it, but it's in there from when I had this on the drag/Edo. I really can't remember what's in there, but I know I do have a ball diff laying around here somewhere. I'm probably gonna put that in when I track it down. I do have blue aluminum rear hubs on here. Those are hand-me-downs from a Bandit project. Stock Rustler arms all the way around. Stock rear shocks, stock front shocks. I do have gray AEV2 springs on the front, stock on the back. Spectrum servo. Homemade shock tires, these were on the Bandit. The front end is working really good. The rear, however, being that the arms are wider on the Rustler, I'm gonna have to remake this. I'm actually gonna start on it tonight. I'm gonna remake the same setup, but a little bit taller, a little bit wider, so I can stand them shocks up a little bit more, because it's not the ass end's not working real good, and I should have tons of traction, and I do not. That's got to be the problem, because these shocks are laid in way too far, because the arms are wider on this than they were on the Bandito. Newest piece I made is this front body mount. I spent about 8 hours on this stupid thing yesterday. Yeah, 8 hours. It's all whittled out of a white cutting board, same material that I made these shock towers out of. I made it just right so I could use the original holes that were in the body when this was on my AT 6.2, I believe, stadium truck. I didn't want to put any more holes in my custom paint job by Steve Prochko Paints. So it was worth it to me to spend the time making that rather than just slapping on a Traxxas body mount and drilling more holes in there. The rear, right now I'm running a stock Traxxas single mount in the middle. I did put one hole here in the back. Pretty basic. Put a couple spacers in there, spaced it back, ground it flat, bolted it to the shock tower. Pretty simple. Battery's Velcroed in just to keep it from wiggling loose, and I also have a brace here holding it down. And yes, I know this bolt needs cut off. It's longer than that one. I will take care of that. It's a pretty stout little truck. I couldn't drive it as hard as I wanted to today because the ass end was a little loose, and I know it's due to my suspension geometry back here. I'll have that remedied by the weekend. Be doing a lot of racing with this coming up. We're gonna get it dialed in on dirt, and then we're gonna move it to carpet, see what it can do on carpet. I'll be racing the Kyosho Dirt Master just because I love that buggy. I still haven't even touched the JC Racing Products carbon fiber RC10 vintage race buggy, which I'm super excited to get into that. I just haven't had the time to do it yet. Got to build that. We're going to try that on dirt. We're going to try that on carpet, see where it's better suited, and we're going to race the hell out of that thing. Wooden buggy, the wooden TLR. I'm going to redo that chassis at some point over the winter and give that another try. Sprint car racing coming up. Lots of crawling stuff too, of course. I'm super into the crawling. I know it's probably not that great to watch. Oh, I got something in my eye. If you haven't tried it, I suggest you give it a try because it'll probably change your preference on videos. I mean, it's once you're into it, you don't mind watching videos on it. I know it's a little boring, but I'll try and spice it up a little bit. And over there, I got a brand new two-wheel drive short course project I'm going to get into. John at Big Dog RC just gave it to me today. Going to be doing lots of testing with that, seeing what we can do with that. And I'm not sure, I may have already spoiled this video with that. I'm not sure when I put this video out. Well, whatever. If you didn't see it, you're going to see it. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.